And we are back. It is Sends It Thursdays. What are we sending here today? Man, how many guys were screwed by that FOMC, right? That was kind of insane. We had this crazy Monday pump, just a big retrace, then this FOMC kind of trap. Asia sells it and then US buys it. What's really going on here? You know, the macro markets are exploding. I've got James in the background to share some of that information with you guys, but I have just taken some trades. And yeah, there's a couple other trades that I think look pretty good that we could all take here together. So it's a good thing that you guys are tuned in and you guys are here right now, because I think this one is going to be a banger. So with that being said, guys, let's rock and roll. And look, if you're late to this stream and maybe there's a trade that took off, you didn't get in, and you're like, dang, I wish I knew about the show. I mean, guys, just take a quick moment, hit the bell notification at the bottom. Make sure you guys are subscribed. If you're brand new here, my name's Degen Dave. I am a chartist with the Chart Hackers. That's a group within Crypto Banter. And yeah, we trade when things are going up. We trade when things are going down. It doesn't matter if it's bullish or bearish. We're here to get money printing. Okay, so look, I got a lot to cover in a short period of time. I've got a lot of setups. I don't even know if I'm going to have enough time to get into all the setups there. But yeah, we're going to dive in right now. As you guys can see, I've got my Bitcoin chart here, right? And I just wanted to talk about, what had happened, right? Because last show, I was looking for this level here first. I guess kind of on the spot chart here with Binance, because there's a lot of other charts that don't have this wick. We did have some kind of move to the upside. But hey, look, I wish I was a little bit more hedged last episode. I did give an Aster short that played out pretty nicely there. But here we are again, right? We're here at a very important level. Here with Bitcoin, you can see that we're above the point of control. And I just kind of want to map out, like what had really happened here, right? Because on the Asia Open here, we basically during I guess it was that Monday or Tuesday here, we had this crazy pump, and then we had this big pullback, and then we had the FOMC here, and then basically not just a round trip, but we had some selling pressure, and then Asia basically sold it for the first couple hours, and then essentially US market came and took them out, right? So let's zoom in here. I want to show you guys what I'm seeing here, right? So this was the Asia low, right? And then what happened was US market came and took them out and then went long here, right? So if there were some smart Asian market makers, right, they probably went long here, sold it, went long, and then I'm kind of suspecting continuation here, right? So the tile was weekend pump, right? I kind of feel like whether it's tomorrow or Saturday or Sunday, like here in the next 72 hours, I do feel like we're going to get some kind of bounce to the upside. My target still remains the same. I still think that there's quite a bit of liquidity here at the 97K region. And this is kind of just short-term analysis, right? I'm not like bullish by any means, right? Because if you guys were tuned in a few weeks ago, this was a chart that I was showing all of you guys, right? This was a macro chart on Bitcoin. And, we were kind of at this level here, 100K. I was like, look, we really need to hold this level for me to remain bullish. And what did we do? We lost it, right? So we've kind of drifted outside of this big parallel channel on the macro. And yeah, quite a bit of resistance up towards the 100K mark, right? You can see all these bearish order blocks here. There's not a lot of volume coming into the crypto space. It's a risk on asset. But if you guys were tuned into Uncle Rand's show yesterday, I was tuned into that, right? I forget which entity it was. James, if you know it, let me know. But there's a group that just keeps buying ETH right now. They think this is the low for ETH. And if you guys have been seeing, ETH has been having just aggressive strength throughout the past couple of weeks here, right? They had the upgrade. And yeah, a little bit of a sell up here. But, essentially it has had a nice recovery in my opinion. And, that could mean some kind of potential run here for the ETH narrative, here in the next couple of weeks. We'll see. Yeah, so back to Bitcoin, guys. I think that this is not something to short. Yes, I have taken some shorts, but I think they're calculated shorts. I'm going to get into that here towards a little bit later on here in the episode. But we're above point of control right now. And that's kind of the thing for me. So as long as we're above point of control, I think we're going to see continuation. Do we think Asia is going to come and sweep US? I personally don't think so. We could get the initial Asia Open, maybe like 1%. But I do want to see this 91.5 hold, right? And here for me, that's kind of an adding opportunity. And like I said, I'd like to see us have some continuation, because in my opinion, when you get everybody kind of excited, right? You guys all saw that 7% pump here with Bitcoin. This was on, I guess Tuesday, right? Yeah, Tuesday. There's a 7%, 6% pump, right? A lot of people got trapped. A lot of people got excited. I mean, even for me, I'm like, dude, what the heck is going on? Let me add to my longs. But essentially, we had trapped those longs. And then we had the FOMC, right? Kind of getting everybody excited and trapped again. And then boom, wrecked, right? So any breakout trader from Tuesday or FOMC is essentially destroyed, right? And what's the biggest middle finger to those guys is to send it up and to let them know that, hey, you were actually right, but not at that moment, right? So that's kind of, my thought process as far as the short term goes here. And yeah, James, if you don't mind popping in the background, like what really happened with this FOMC stuff? Like what was the conclusion?
Well, that's it. It's a mixed conclusion. When Dylan talked about on the show, he's like, everyone's confused about this because everyone was screaming that things are so bullish. And QE has started, stealth QE. Because Powell came out and said this isn't QE, and they're buying $40 billion in treasury bills monthly, is what he's committed to at the moment. But back in April of 2020, they bought $1.2 trillion worth in a single month. So 40 billion isn't very much, but everybody's very excited about it. They also said that they could be done with rate cuts at the moment. They don't see a need for them. There's only one on the dot plot. I'm like, this is really bearish. And then the market started ripping. TradFi did anyway. Silver went flying. The Russell made a new all-time high. The S&P was flying. The Dow Jones was flying, and crypto was dumping. I'm like, okay, if this was bullish, how is it not bullish for everything? Right? The Russell flying means that people are getting into small cap stocks. They're going into the heaviest risk on in the stock world anyway. Crypto should be flying. I'm like, what the hell? And yeah, so there's a little confusion as to what's going on and why is crypto dumping while everything else is flying.
Yeah, I mean, these are very great points, because I mean, if there's no money really coming into the market and we see moves happening in the crypto market, in my opinion, it's just a liquidity grab, right? And I think that's kind of why I stick to my bias here with 96, 97, 98, even 100K, because it's a liquidity grab. And what do you think most people are going to think? What do you think retail traders are going to think if we get close to 100K? We're so back. And that should be an indicator to short.
And then they'll dump it.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, thank you for that, James. And James always has the alpha, guys, if you didn't know. Okay, so let's get into some banter bubble stuff, guys. I thought it was interesting here. Like, it's been kind of a crappy year, right? Like Uncle Ran on the show, he's like, man, just kind of a terrible year for crypto, right? And like, really, what's going on here, right? I mean, look at overall, most altcoins took a big beating, but then you got Zcash at 702%, and you got this M token at 3,000%. I mean, we had our little fun with that guy here. Aster up 125%. But here's what I think is interesting. Watch this Zcash here. Okay, I'm gonna shift to the monthly. Watch what happens to that bubble. It shrunk 5%. Okay, so for the month, it really hasn't done anything, and I think that's kind of clues for a reversal on the macro for Zcash, right? So I'm gonna cover Zcash. In fact, I took a short on Zcash. But for the month, what are some things that are kind of just looking quite sad here? ICP, Aptos, IP, Jupe. Now, for those of you guys that don't know, Breakpoint is actually currently going on right now, which is the Solana conference. I'd imagine Jupe and some of these other Sol tokens are going to be featured. I don't know the whole story, but just be aware that there could be some kind of pump here, especially if Bitcoin makes its run to 97K. I think the Sol ecosystem should get some kind of life, right? But after the conference, I think maybe that's something to fade. But yeah, look, I mean, monthly good perspective here, right? And then for the week, Zcash kind of having that bearish retest, in my opinion, right? I was giving a Zcash long around 300, 330-ish. And now we're kind of at some very, very big resistance levels right there. Obviously, you guys know the situation with Hype. There's some big whales getting liquidated at around like $29 or something like that. And yeah, a lot of the holders are kind of just dumping their bags and going to some of these other DEX, the DEX narrative. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on Hype. And then for Aster to be kind of down for the month, 9%. I mean, CZ, I'm pretty sure he has a plan to not make his token looks so sad here, right? So yeah, for the day, yeah, Zcash, right? Zcash is up there, 88, actually looking quite nice for a long. But yeah, that's kind of the overview here with the Banter bubble. So let's get into kind of, I kind of gave you guys the Bitcoin analysis. I'm going to kind of just keep it very simple here. I'm looking for continuation. I'd like to see us come up here. If we get some kind of sweep, I think we're going to, at the end of the day, I still think something like this is going to happen. Whether it's like this or whether it's like this, I think it's going to be one of those scenarios. And if we start to kind of drift down here and not really see any strength into the market, then yeah, for sure, guys, this is, we're going to be coming down. And honestly, if we start losing 85, 86, then I'd expect us to kind of test these lows here, right? We still have these weekend lows that haven't been really dealt with. I think we kind of just tapped it a little bit here, but it kind of makes sense for something like this to happen. And I personally think we're coming down lower overall. I think we're coming down to 70K, something like that. But again, I'm okay with that. And we're going to be writing some big shorts. And honestly, this is where I would be really, really excited and happy to start building some big shorts, right? So 97, 98, even 100K, kind of a fake out. And everyone starts saying we're so back on Twitter. That's where I'm going to be where I'm going to be building some big shorts here. Okay. But in the, kind of the next 24 to 72 hours, I'm going to give you guys kind of a list of longs here. So Bitcoin dominance, here's another reason why I do think in the short term that we are going to dump on the dominance and see some kind of pump here with the altcoins, right? So I've got a fib pulled from the high to the low, right? So the high to the low, right? And we have a 382 fib coming in right in at this 50-day moving average. So we're literally like nose to nose onto the 50-day moving average, right? And I'm kind of thinking something like this. Very, very simple. The next couple of days, something like this would be nice, right? But then that's where, we have to assess like what's going to be happening. And we typically do that on our Sunday banger. So make sure that if you guys are not part of the chart hackers to get signed up with us, because every Sunday we go over kind of what we think is going to happen in the market. Okay, so just a little bit highlight from last week. I know a lot of those longs didn't work out, but at the end of the day, I did say that if Bitcoin doesn't hold this level, most of those long setups are going to be invalidated. But yeah, I think that for this current situation for this week, if we kind of come down here, these are adding opportunities for the longs. And as I show you guys these long setups, it will make sense on like, okay, cool, yeah, this is where I could add. Again, if Bitcoin starts drifting down here, this is kind of the evacuation queue. Okay, so Aster, kind of a highlight here, but guess what? I actually have taken a long here on Aster. I'm pretty much close to entry. I did give this setup to the chart hackers last night as well with a bunch of other altcoin setups here. But yeah, we're kind of at TP1 right now for that call. I've actually aggressively added to my position, so my average entries kind of just moved up just a little bit here. But yeah, I think Aster is going to make some kind of bearish retest here, especially with Bitcoin going into the 97K region. I thought it was interesting too that Aster dumped during Asia Open, right? This is kind of an Asian token. And then all of a sudden US is buying it, right? So, if Asia was kind of behind the plan of dumping it here, then they probably have amazing long entries. US market joins the party. And yeah, Aster, when it gets going here, right? So we are in this trade. It's pretty close to entry. Like I said, I'm pretty much at entry right now. This is what I've got cooking here on WeX at the moment. So you can see my Aster position. My entry price is 94.6. I've added a little bit more aggressively here, $35,000 position. And you can see here, I'm pretty much at entry right now. So if you guys are not in this trade, hey, feel free to join us here. And if Asia dumps it, right, I think in this green box territory is still an adding opportunity. Also, there's this rising trend situation here with Aster. It's not confirmed yet, but we have the second touch here, right? And if you extend it out here, if we get some kind of sell off here, some kind of sweep from Asia, then yeah, this is kind of an adding opportunity. But if we start closing below this rising trend, this is kind of like, hey, this is getting invalidated. Maybe there's some kind of token unlock. I don't know the deal here, but at the end of the day, Aster is at a macro value area low here. So I explained this to the chart hackers in the Discord, that not only are we at a 786, so if you take a fib from this wick low to this high here where we rejected this was Wednesday, you can see we're sitting on a 786 or bounced off the 786. We have a macro value area low. So for those of you guys that are brand new, when you use a fixed range volume profile, which is a free tool in TradingView, you can see here that I have a value area high showing here, point of control showing here, the value area low showing here, right? So typically we long value area lows and we short value area highs here, okay? So these are kind of the TP zones if you guys want to, just go rewind it and take a screenshot. But if you guys are in the chart hackers, you already have all these TP zones here, okay? So for the sake of time and for the amount of setups that I have here, we'll move on to the next one. I'm not going to sit here and just call off all these TP zones. But the other one that's interesting to me here is TON. And if you guys are following me on Twitter, again, I have a lot of free content, and I kind of gave a little clue that TON has just been kind of quiet and just kind of sniffing around. Well, yesterday or during the Asia sell-off, that's actually when I started a position with TON. And yeah, I think it's worth a stab. One of the reasons why is because we have this 3-day bullish divergence. You don't really see this very often, a 3-day bullish divergence on tokens. And so that's kind of the higher time frame checkoff for me. And then on the shorter time frames here, I'm on the 1 hour time frame. So this is the kind of zoomed in version, the magnifying glass, if you will. And yeah, what I have here is, a couple things, right? So I've got a fib pulled from that wick low to the high here. And yeah, I had an alert here set. I told everybody on Tuesday during the charting session to set their alerts here. And what we had is an anchored V out from the lows. We had this point of control showing on chart prime. We also have this value area high showing on the fixed range volume profile. And so typically when you break above the value area high and you pull back, that's what we call a retest. And so far that retest has been working out. And this, yeah, nothing but bullish order blocks down here, right? So TON has taken off for me just a little bit, but I still think that, this is a trade that can still be had here. Even just starting a small position here and then laddering into this green box territory, I think there's going to be some kind of move here with TON. And I'm not looking for anything too crazy. I think TON is more of a safer play. And yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense to see some kind of move to the 50-day moving average and undercarriage, right? So this is what we call an undercarriage, where we had some support here before, and then essentially, losing the level and then looking for that retest here, right? So TP2 is kind of where that's at, and that's going to be coming in around 182 here, right? And if we can get beyond the 50-day moving average, which we have seen on some tokens, the 786 retracement is simply here at TP3, right? So if you take a fib from the last lower high before the big dump, right, that's where you pull the fib, right? You can see that the 786 retracement is coming right in here at about $2, which $2 is also a psychological level here, right? So TON, I like it. I'm in the trade. The next one that's kind of similar is Lido, right? And Lido was given on the Sunday banger, pretty much played out. And one of the reasons why I gave it is because same thing, higher time frame. I'm on the 3-day time frame right here, 3 days. Bullish divergence, guys, not very common, right? So you have Lido given that signal as well. So again, taking the magnifying glass, this was a trade given on the Sunday banger. So this was on Sunday here. Gave it to the chart hackers, right? And I told everybody the invalidation is loss of this 786 and value area low. So same situation, value area high, value area low, long the value area low. We were able to catch a nice move to the upside, about 13%. And then, yeah, we've basically had this round trip into the same zone here, right? So I gave this trade as well to the chart hackers, gave the exact entry. We're kind of running just a little bit now, but I don't think it's too late, right? And one of the things that I train everybody is to drop an anchored VWAP from the absolute low here, right? So you can see how the anchored VWAP from the absolute low, look at this bullish order block as well. But yeah, tracking this anchored VWAP. So it's pretty much at an entry now. If you're in the chart hackers, you're pretty much ahead of the game here. But again, I still think that there is a big move to be had here, especially with the ETH strength. So this is an ETH play. And yeah, I think that we're going to see some kind of movement here towards value area high, or at least this point of control at 62 cents, right? So make sure to take some profits here around 63 cents, which is a 6% move to the upside. And then we have value area high here right around 65 cents. Okay. And then look, if we can really kick on some strength here and, maybe we get some kind of Santa rally into the 50-day moving average and this trend here, that would be really, really nice. Okay. And so just understand as well is that on the macro range pull, right, we have the value area low sitting in right around 65 cents. So it is key to make sure to take some profits at 65 cents because there is a probability that we come test 65 cents and then reject. Okay. Now, I don't think that's likely because of the 3-day bullish divergence, but just be aware. Now, if we can get back inside this macro value area low, if we can start closing above this blue line, like we could see some fireworks here. Okay, and so I want to keep it very realistic here. I've got this trend line. It's not like a crazy macro trend line. It's just a trend line here from the 1010 wick. Check that out, right? It's tying in with the 50-day moving average and these bearish order blocks here. So if we can really gain the momentum and the volume comes in here, I'm looking at a 23% move to the upside. I know. Okay, so I really like this. This is probably my top, play here for the ETH narrative. And yeah, look, it's holding the 10-10-618 or hacker zone, right? So what is the 10-10? The 10-10. It's the when we had that 10-10 crazy liquidation event, right? So this is the 10-10 wick from the low to the bearish retest high. You can see the hacker zone around 53.4 and 56.2. Look, we're holding it quite nicely here. We held it quite nicely here. In fact, we just kind of kissed it a couple times, right? So I feel like this should be some kind of bottom here, especially with the ETH strength. Okay, so that's Lido. And then yeah, I gave on the daily candle and also on Twitter as this WLFI trade, right? And WLFI, I really think that there's some manipulation going on here, or whales kind of coming together. And this was a setup that I gave a couple weeks ago, right? Where we had some kind of entry here. I took the trade live with you guys on WeX. I said I had another order down here, and then those orders merged, and then we had this nice little rally here, right? So to me, that means there's a lot of strength, right? And essentially, we've kind of just been consolidating here. But look where we've consolidated down to, right? We've consolidated down to this anchored VWAP. So there's a couple things that are looking really juicy here for WLFI, is that this anchored VWAP from the absolute lows coming in right here. We're on it right now. We have this point of control on this fixed range volume profile tying in as well. And then we have the 50-day moving average tying in as well, right? And if you look a little bit closely here, you can see that we have a bullish order block a little bit below here, right? So if we get some kind of pullback, that's an adding opportunity. So the building zone of this trade is about a 5% building zone, right? So from 14 cents to around 14.78 looks really key for me here. You can also see that there is a bullish bullish order block right here around 1380, and then we just printed a 1 hour bullish divergence here today. Okay, so it looks really good, and as a matter of fact, it hasn't taken off quite yet. I'm pretty much at entry still, right? So you're not too late to the party. I added just a little bit more here, about $20,000 position. Again, if we start drifting into that green box territory, I will be adding to the position. Okay, so that is the WLFI setup. The next one is Bitcoin Cash, right? So Bitcoin Cash was actually pretty strengthy as far as one of the longs that I gave last week. Okay, like I said, when Bitcoin dumps, everything dumps, but you can see that Bitcoin Cash was holding itself quite nicely here at the anchor view up from the lows. So, it's really key that you really hone in on the anchor view up from the lows. Again, that's one of the things that WLFI is doing. So these guys are kind of like brothers, if you will, as far as TA goes. But yeah, we have the 618, we have the 100-day moving average, we have this point of control below, and then we have the 50 and the 200 right below, right? So there's just a lot of things going on here for Bitcoin Cash, and it's just very strengthy, right? If you've noticed over the past week or 2 weeks, as things are dumping, Bitcoin Cash is just kind of sitting at its level or pumping quite nicely. You can see here too that on the 2 hour time frame, we printed a bullish divergence here, right? So, kind of coming into this resistance territory right now. I am in this long. It's kind of ran away, a tiny bit here, right? So you can see I took the Bitcoin Cash long, just a couple of percentages here. Not a handbag yet, but it's getting pretty close. And yeah, I think that if we get any kind of dips here, I will be doubling down. And I do think that we will hit this TP2, TP3 region, right? So this is essentially a double top that I'm looking for here. So the 786 is at TP2, which we've hit quite nicely already a couple times. But yeah, I still think that we're going to aggressively kick on here with Bitcoin Cash. And if you take a look at the bigger picture, right, there is a bigger TP zone as well, which is around $700. Okay, and that would give us a kind of give us this level here, right? So this is a level that has been visited before, right around the $700 region. It'd be nice to kind of see price action get above that, kind of take out this level, and then maybe look to flip short there. Okay, but as of now, I'm building another Bitcoin Cash long here, and it's been, again, I think it's just a safer play, right? It's one thing to gamble with the PIPPINs and the jellies, but when you've got kind of just higher market caps and respect TA, you just increase your chances of winning, right? So that's kind of why I wanted to give you guys this Bitcoin Cash as well. Okay, now there's a couple trades that are kind of looking good as well as far as longs go, but before I get into that, I want to give you guys some short zones or some shorts as well. Okay, so I've got 3 shorts for you before I get into those. And I took a Zcash head short here. And if you guys were tuned into the scalp session that happened a couple days ago, yeah, we took a short here. We literally nailed the exact top. And for any of you guys, and we were just trying to catch a 2 or 3% move here. But if anybody that held that scalp, that was a nice little 12% pump. And then look, we rebounded back into this bearish retest zone, right? So this is an undercarriage, SR flip situation, whatever you want to call it, right? Where we've had rejections here, support here, lost it here, right? And I'm expecting a rejection again. Now, I'm okay with getting stopped out on this guy. My stop here is at 489. Okay, we have a lot of things tying into this head short, which is a bearish order block, a 50-day moving average, and this undercarriage here as well. And then I'm pretty dang sure there's some kind of overbought print or something like that here on the shorter time frame. So we have a reversal here on the 1 hour, right? And I'm just looking for price action to kind of find its way to the anchor VWAP or this trend, bullish order block here, right? So we're looking for a nice little, 10, 12% move, 17, 20% move here. And if you guys are paying attention to Zcash, right, as the market was red, Zcash pumped, right? And I kind of have this feeling, and I know Lord of Entries is also thinking the same thing, that is when the market goes green, that we'll probably see a correction with Zcash, right? So privacy narrative makes a lot of sense. If you're a whale, the market's going red, like get out of your spot bags, go into privacy coins, like so nobody knows what you're doing, right? And I kind of think that's kind of the mindset for these whales, right? Let's just move into privacy tokens as a hedge. And then, hey, when everything's green again and everything looks good, let's get out of our privacy tokens and go into these altcoins for a better return, right? So I think it looks good here. Again, if Zcash loses, kind of just gains some strength still, the next level of interest for me is going to be around this $570 region. So I will take the stop. I'm not going to just kind of hold this short trade into death, right? This is a 30% move to the upside here. But yeah, I think $581, $600 makes a lot of sense for the short here for Zcash. Okay. Now, speaking of which, somebody on Tuesday told me that XMR was looking like a good short. And as I was kind of preparing last minute, XMR looked freaking amazing here, right? So I just took an XMR trade and it's actually running away. So I think it's still okay to enter this trade. But there's a couple things going on here with XMR. So both privacy narratives, okay? Both of them are kind of green today. But I really love the confluence here with this XMR, right? So somebody told me that, hey, I think Zcash looks like a good short. And, we were kind of like right here. And I said, look, it could be a good short, but it would make a lot more sense to kind of come into this region. So my alert went off, looks good. We have a trend line coming down. We have the fixed range volume profile. So we have value area high. What did I say? We short value area high. We have a bearish order block here. I have a fib pulled from the high of the 9th of November to the low here, right? So it took a big fib pull right here. And look at the hacker zone. Guys, the science is real. We literally came into the hacker zone perfectly right now, and we are rejecting, right? So it's starting to go away a little bit right now, but look, if we get a pop-up here, that's where I'm going to be adding to the position, and I think that XMR will have a pullback. Now, the first TP zone makes a lot of sense to take some profits here, and there is a situation where we could do something like this and do that. So be aware, right? So make sure to take some profits, and if we get some kind of rebound here, this is where you can add to your short again, and then look to maximize the move to the downside. The thing about Monero, right, is number one on the 1 hour time frame, look at these overbought signal prints. The next hour print is going to give us that confirmed overbought print. And then if you look at the higher time frames, guys, this thing is cooked. On the 3-day, we are still up here, right? I'm looking for some kind of cool off, just some kind of little cool off here. We had a blue reversal print down here, and it completely ignored it. So for me, that's good because that means it could be delayed. It could be a delayed signal. Okay. Now on the daily, I think it was, we had this bearish divergence here, and we're kind of back into that level again as well. So yeah, like higher time frames, I think it needs to come down, especially on that 3-day time frame. And then yeah, like I said, we're starting to get those overbought prints here, and yeah, just a lot of tie-in here. And I think the invalidation is quite simple. But the other thing I thought was interesting is that if you take a fib from this recent, pullback here. So I got a fib pulled from the high here from the 30th of November to this recent low. Look at that 786 tying in with that trend line bearish order block here. So this is kind of the zone, right? And I'm looking for something like that. I'm looking for the 50-day or maybe even greater than that value area low or this trend line here. And you never know, right? This could be the nice little hedge where, you know, maybe we actually catch the actual swing short, if you will, because again, that 3-day time frame looks really, really nice. Okay, so those are some 2 shorts that I'm excited about. And so, yeah, the XMR is already printing. In fact, it was just sitting there at 0. So yeah, it's only ran away 1% from me here, guys. It's not too late. So yeah, you can see here I'm in the Zcash and XMR. These are my hedge shorts. So in the event that the market starts rolling over, these shorts are going to print, and these longs, I'm going to start cutting them, right? But that's how you kind of still can remain profitable in a market that goes up and down, right? You can hedge and just kind of insurance, you know, against your longs, right? And then if these longs start to print, which you can see I'm mostly in longs, these shorts are probably going to get stopped out. But there is a high probability, in my opinion, that these shorts are going to play out and the longs are going to play out. So I'm betting that all of these trades are going to play out, and we'll see how we go. Okay. Now the Degen play, Degen meaning you can get wrecked, is this Pippin. Okay, and you guys saw me make a post about Pippin. Somebody asked me about Pippin. There's just a lot of things going on in my mind about this Pippin. And, you know, Jelly is kind of a training grounds for me as far as how these things go. But, you know, in my opinion, the more time that goes by, that it just makes it easy for someone to go long or short is not the optimal entry, right? How long has price? I mean, this is the 6-hour time frame. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, we've been here for 2 days, right? So we're either going to do this or we're going to do this. And I prefer something like this because I'm pretty sure everybody and their mom's trying to short this thing, right? Everyone's trying to short this thing, but it makes sense to see something aggressive like this and then the actual pullback. It happens every time. If you guys look at Jelly, you get this scam wick, and then within seconds it goes, right? So I actually have some sneaky orders already set for Pippin. Nothing crazy, but I got one at 40 cents and I've got one here at 46 cents. So I'm already prepared to play this game. Okay, and the 46 cents is going to be a new all-time high. But how did I figure out this level? Why 46 cents? Well, it's a 1618. 1618s don't always work out, but if you take a fib from the absolute wick high to the all-time low, look where that 1618 is coming in, right around 46 cents. So I'm going to have a starter position trigger off here at 40 cents, but then also a higher level here at 46 cents, right? And my goal is to catch the scam wick and to catch the big move to the downside here, right? And I'm, you know, it's great, right? Why does everybody get into memes, right? Because it's very volatile and you can make a lot of money real fast. Everybody wants the easy way out, right? But I'm telling you, if you think the short is easy right here, right now, you're going to be wrong, right? They're going to take you out of your short right now, liquidate you, and then bring it down. And it's the most defensive thing, right? So you got to think ahead of the game here when it comes to that. And it makes a lot of sense for Pippin to fall. We got a blue reversal dot on the 8-hour. We have bearish divergence prints like crazy. But again, we've seen those be ignored. And so, you know, I think there's a scam pump coming into fruition here, guys. Okay, so that's kind of my thoughts, and that's the Degen play here with Pippin. Now, I do want to take a live trade here with you guys. One that looks pretty damn good is Pendle and ADA. Okay, so Pendle, you know, I gave the long in the chart hackers during Amsterdam, and man, that was a nice banger, right? We had a nice little 30-40% root to the upside here, and we had this nice 786 pullback, right? So taking a fib from that wick low to the absolute high and trend where we rejected. Look at the kiss of the 786. Bam, right? So we bounced off the 786. Let's dial in a little bit. Look at the 2-hour. We printed 2 bullish divergences. So go to the, I'm going to dial in now on the 15-minute time frame. You can see that we are maintaining above the anchored VWAP and this value area low. And look, we can start a starter position and we can have another order down here, right? So let's crank open a Pendle position together, right? Because I think that the bullish divergences are going to print. I think Bitcoin is going to go. And hey, look, let's just get our foot in the door here, right? So, you know, I'm running cross right now, so don't really pay attention to the leverage. It's just really position sizing, right? So for me, I just want to put $1,000 into the trade. Nothing crazy, right? So $1,000 essentially is a $10,000 position, right? So I'm going to go ahead and mark it $10,000, 10,005 because there's a fee, right? So $10,000 position now. And then now, you know, the plan here is I'm going to add another order here at 221, right? So simply go to limit, go to 221, right? And I'm going to double down and put another $10,000 order here, right? So that's kind of the idea. You guys saw me do this before with WLFI, right? So in the event that, you know, they come and try to do some kind of scam wick to the downside or basically a stop hunt, you know, I'm looking to capitalize, double down, and catch the big move to the upside here. So we're in Pendle, and then ADA looks quite good as well. One of the things that I like about ADA is kind of like Lido and Taunt, 3-day bullish divergence, hasn't really ran yet. Okay, and I actually gave this on the Sunday banger as well, and Sunday was right here, right? So it had a nice little 16% move, but look, we've round tripped into the hacker zone. Right, so fit from the wick low to the high, we've round tripped in the hacker zone. We're above POC, so we've held POC. And I think it was on the 2-hour time frame where it was showing like a bullish order block here. Okay, so either way, yeah, there it is. Bullish order block, point of control, rising trend in play. ADA looks freaking good. You know what? Let's just open up an ADA as well, right? And because it's such a kind of at a lower level territory, I feel like using a little bit more size makes sense. So, maybe $15,000 position here for ADA. Right? And again, these are kind of higher market cap tokens. There's the easy invalidation here for ADA, right? So if we start drifting below this rising trend, I may cut the position. So basically right here at 40 cents might be the exit, okay? But what I'm gonna do, and this is something that you all should do, is set an alert right here. And just say losing trend. And be out of the family, enjoying the holidays, get this alert, you're losing trend. Hey, get in front of your phone, look at it. It doesn't make sense, get out. Okay, but I'm looking for a big move to the upside here with ADA still. Okay, whether you love it or hate it, I'm just trading the chart, looking for a 20% move to the upside. Makes a lot of sense to reject here at the anchor VWAP, 44 cents. Okay, so definitely take some profits there. And you can also see this bearish order block here at 47 cents as well. Okay, so ADA looks freaking good. Reversal print on the 2-hour as well. And yeah, I mean, pretty much most of these tokens are on Bitfunded. So if you guys are on Bitfunded, yeah, take these trades. All of these are pretty much on Bitfunded except for Zcash and XMR and PIPPIN. Okay, now, a couple things here. You guys are seeing me take some trades on WeX, right? If you guys are brand new here, what's great about WeX, it's non-KYC. And the best part about this right now is that we are starting a trading competition. So this is 19 days going here. It just started yesterday. Not many participants, right? But we have a $3,000 prize pool. So make sure to get started with us. So not only can you take these trades that I'm giving you guys, but you can get registered. So how do you register? Simply go into the link below, right? So you'll sign up with my link here. And then once you are registered, so you'll get a bonus as well. So you get a $50 USDT bonus. And then once you are enrolled, then that's where you'll sign up for the trading competition, which is the second link down here, which is the bit.ly WeX Trading. And that's what's going to show up here. You'll be logged in, and then you'll just click register now and join the trading competition, guys. So hope you guys have fun with that. I haven't really, this is my main account, but I haven't started the competition yet. I'm just kind of waiting to see how things are going first, and then I'm going to come after you guys. We'll see how we go. But yeah, look, guys, we're 38 minutes in. I've got that's pretty much it. I mean, I think I gave you guys quite a bit of setups here. So overall, macro bearish, looking for this relief pump, looking for this squeeze, 97K. And then here, this is where I'm looking to flip short. So if you're not a part of the chart hackers, and this happens during the weekend, again, only the chart hackers are going to be able to kind of get those entries here. So make sure you guys get signed up with us. If you're not part of the chart hackers, you can go here to the chart hackers link and sign up with my link, and yeah, get the alpha, guys. So with that being said, guys, I think that's pretty much it for me. James, any last words? Anything I missed? Any macro stuff? No, we're good. Cool, guys. So that's about it. With that being said, also just remember, we're going into the weekend. There's always weekend shenanigans. All these trades could get invalidated. Remember, it's high probability, but I guarantee you it's better than playing blackjack at the casino or trading with an edge, high probabilities. And yeah, like I said, if you guys are part of the chart hackers, this is actually, I forgot to show this, but this is my section here. I gave the 𝗵𝗘𝗫, the 𝗏, the Aster, gave all the setups here, all the levels, the Bitcoin kind of analysis, just gave that Zcash head short here. And yeah, guys, as you can see, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to these trades and how they're going to play out. And I hope you guys learned something here. And we'll see you guys next Thursday. I will be doing a show. I know most of Banter, they're not, but I will still be doing a show next Thursday. So I will see you guys then. Until then, see you on the next trade.